That's right, one of you lucky listeners could win this amazing prize. Keiran, tell them about the prize.
Well, in this week's prize, we've got a special for you. It is full of swearing, spoilers, and opinions.
No, that's the podcast, Keiran, the actual prize. Tell them about the prize.
The actual prize is a shout-out from the 250 Reasons hosts themselves.
No, it's not that one. It's the actual prize, Keiran. Come on. Tell them.
I will donate you my kidneys.
There we go. A fresh pair of kidneys. And they're good ones, too.
Just leave a 5-star review.
Literally selling your kidneys for a 5-star review. But no, we will.
£1,000. That's a cheap price for a pair of kidneys. I'm going to die anyway. It doesn't matter what I get.
No, you can live without kidneys.
No, you can't.
Can you not?
You can live with one kidney.
Oh, well, we'll sell one of Keiran's kidneys.
Oh, okay. In that case, for like £2 million for one of my kidneys.
You'd sell one of your kidneys for £2 million.
How much would you sell yours for?
A fiver?
Jordan?
Nah, tenner.
Okay, well, swearing, spoilers, and opinions, they're all going to be there. Have a good time.
And Keiran's kidneys.
And my kidneys.
See you in a bit. Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. I'm Jordan. Did you not get taught to not talk with your mouth full? Bloody rude. The cheek of this guy. Anyway, so this is 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. It is the podcast where we watch the IMDb top 250 films. We say stuff about them and we tell you whether it's worth watching or not. This week, Keiran, what are we watching?
This week we are watching Sunset Boulevard.
I walk a boulevard of sunset, and it's good. So when did this film come out, Keiran? Are you aware of that? Do you have the numbers? Do you have the stats? Are they loading on your laptop right now?
I have one of them. And when like you're doing something.
What's happening here? Is this filling? Is this padding? When you're doing something.
This is filling and padding. And
yeah.
the thing that I'm doing isn't really... It came out in 1950. And it is number 56 on the list.
That's pretty high up, isn't it?
That is pretty high up. I've got high hopes for this film.
Yeah, for a 50s film as well. So what do you think this film's about?
I reckon it's about a place in California, in Hollywood.
California.
Called Sunset Boulevard, and that's it. Well, it must be something like to do with, I don't know, film.
Yeah.
Or drama.
Yeah. I think I don't really know of the place Sunset Boulevard, or I didn't really know if that was in California or anything. I'm just getting the picture. When I think Sunset Boulevard in my head, I imagine it's going to be like a before sunrise type deal where it's sunset, and I'm just seeing that over a range, like a what's it called? A horizon.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why Boulevard makes me think of a horizon, but yeah.
But it's the sunset thing.
Yeah, it's the sunset thing that's making me think it's going to be like a lovey film.
But Sunset Boulevard
romantic and
you know about that famous place though?
No.
Where they have all of the stars.
Where they have all the stars
on the pavement.
Oh, is that where that is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
You get a star on sunset, and then that's what that is.
Wait, what? Is that supposed to be like
that's the thing.
Some sort of
it's a thing.
metaphor?
No, if
stars and sunset.
Oh, I guess so. But I think it's just a coincidence, really.
Okay, all right. Well, no, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's going to be like a lovey film. But now that you said that, maybe I think I'm wrong.
I think it might be a drama about like the.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a drama.
But like a gossipy drama about the things that happen.
Oh, it could be a horror. Sunset Boulevard, like a like you get what's that Nightmare on Elm Street? Just like sunset over the boulevard of broken dreams.
I walk a lonely road, the only road that I've ever known. And on that road, we will go watch the film now.
Okay, let's do it. And we're back with a couple of fast thoughts. Broken dreams.
High maintenance old women.
Money.
Hollywood.
Sweet cars.
I gotta make you a star.
The 50s.
That wasn't a real quote.
Okay. Black and white.
Makeup.
Cigarette holders.
Cigarette holders on your ring.
Well, I mean, cigarette holders.
Yeah, but it's a fancy. You got to detail it.
Cigarette holders on your ring on your index finger.
Spooky butlers.
Spooky butlers with weird accents.
Gross swimming pools.
Writers.
Screenplay.
Readers.
Ah.
Okay, I think we'll stop
Yeah,
it there.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So you got your 15-second pitch ready?
Yes.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
The guy's running away from some people who need some money from him. So he goes into this old mansion, stumbles upon this old woman who ends up falling in love with him. Then it's kind of a mess and a bit of a faff. He is a screenplay writer. He writes this play. The old woman shoots him and she gets arrested in the end.
1960.
That was just the worst.
Yeah, that was bad. You lacking in content as well as ability.
Because I think what happened
was you fucked it up.
And I also, when I was 5 seconds in, I was reminded about how much I hated this film.
Oh.
Yeah. How much I felt betrayed by this film.
Oh.
Yeah. When I was 5 seconds in.
Oh.
And I just wanted to... You want to do another one?
No, I'll wait till you say something.
And I just wanted to just fuck off the 15-second pitch.
Oh!
Because it was no good.
Oh. So how did you feel about this film then?
I didn't like it, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like it. What did you think about this film?
How did I feel about this film? A mixed bag of feelings, to be honest. I've got over my sort of deal with black and white films now. I don't go into them going, this is going to be shit. I think a lot of the films that we've watched have helped to improve my sort of instant standing on them. So I go in it open. I'm like, okay, no. Usually, like, they can have some good stories. I liked the story. I liked the way the narration happened, especially at the end. I thought that was really cool. My issue with it was just maybe some of the characters. But I feel like that maybe comes from just the time and the way that it's done. Overall, I think I did like it. I think I did like the story. I was in a pretty kind of moody place when I watched this.
Oh.
So I wasn't feeling too great.
Okay.
And, I was kind of in the mood to watch something dark and moody. And this satisfied that need a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, well, we can go into that a little bit more in depth after the synopsis.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So, the film opens with the camera tracking down Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, California, as police
California! Sorry, we can't do that.
That's fine. As police cars begin racing down it. The lifeless body of a young man, Joe Gillis, floats in the swimming pool of a palatial mansion.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
As the police began converging on the house, Joe's voice narrates in flashback style the events leading up to his own murder. 6 months earlier, Joe was down on his luck, unable to find work as a screenwriter, having only made a few undistinguished films in his short career. Broke and on the verge of having his car repossessed, with no other options except a low-paying newspaper job in Ohio, Joe tries to persuade Paramount Pictures producer Sheldrake to buy his most recent script.
Please, Sheldrake, buy my script!
But fails after script reader Betty Schaefer gives Sheldrake a harsh critique of the script in her summation.
No, because you're shit!
Joe then tries, unsuccessfully, to borrow money from his friends.
Please, can I please borrow some money from you, my friends?
No. Fleeing from repossession men in his car, one of Joe's tire blows out in the front of a large, seemingly deserted mansion on Sunset. Hiding the car in the garage.
Trundle.
He sets out to explore the decaying house when a woman inside calls to him. Hello! Mistaken for the undertaker to a recently deceased pet chimpanzee, he is ushered in by the mysterious butler.
Hello, I'm the mysterious butler.
Max von Mayerling.
My name is Max.
Meeting the woman who owns the house, he recognizes her as long-forgotten silent film star Norma Desmond.
It's Norma Desmond!
When she learns that he is a writer, she invites him in and asks for his opinion on an immense script she has written for a film about Salome. Is it Salome or Salome? I can't remember.
Let's go Salome.
That she hopes will revive her faded acting career.
Salome.
Although Joe finds the script awful, he flatters Norma into hiring him as an editor.
Hey.
Joe is put up in her guest room. The next morning, he objects when he sees that Max has moved his belongings to the mansion on Norma's orders.
I object!
And that she has paid his overdue rent.
Oh, dollar bills, y'all.
Though he hates being dependent on her, he accepts the situation and begins living at the mansion.
I accept!
Keep catching me out with that. First in a room over the garage, then in the mansion itself. As he works on Norma's script...
Thanks for telling me about the geography of where he lives. This is nice.
He comes to see how unaware she is of how her fame has died. She refuses to hear any criticism of her work.
I refuse!
And makes him watch older films in the evening. Although she still receives fan mail, Joe later learns that Max feeds... Joe later learns that Max feeds into Norma's fantasy by sending letters himself. He explains that Norma's state of mind is fragile and she has attempted suicide in the past.
I'm not giving a sound effect for that.
Okay. Understandable. Over the next few weeks, Norma lavishes attention on Joe and buys him expensive clothing, including a tuxedo for a private New Year's Eve party, attended only by the two of them. Horrified to learn that she has fallen in love with him, he tries to let her down gently, but she slaps him and retreats to her room. What was that?
I tried to slap...
Did you have your mouth open?
Yeah, and I just... Sorry, wait.
Joe thinks his time with her is over. He escapes to a party at his friend, assistant director Artie Green's house, where he meets Betty Schaefer again. While still unimpressed with the most of his work,
don't impress me much.
She believes a scene in one of his scripts has potential. Joe half agrees to work on it with her and calls the house on Sunset to tell Max he is leaving.
I'm leaving!
However, when Max informs him that Norma has attempted suicide with Joe's razor blade, Joe leaves the party and returns to the mansion where he apologizes to Norma and makes love to her.
That wasn't necessarily in...
Moving on. After a while...
Oh, okay.
After a while, Norma considers her script complete and sends it to Cecil B. DeMille.
Wait. After a while of the sex or after a while of writing the thing?
Who knows? Who fucking knows?
Imagine halfway through the sex and she's like, my script is complete.
It's done! No, the script, not me. Cecil B. DeMille.
It's done. It's my vagina's done now.
Finished.
Ding.
At Paramount, and waits for his answer. Not long after.
Wait.
Oh my God, let me finish.
Say the sentence then.
I did. After a while, Norma considers her script complete and sends it to Cecil B. DeMille at Paramount and waits for his answer. Not long afterwards, calls from Paramount asking for Norma begin to arrive.
Petulant, please? Could I have petulant?
They come from an executive named Gordon Cole, and Norma petulantly refuses to speak to anyone other than DeMille himself.
I refuse!
Eventually, she has Max drive her and Joe to the studio in her 1929 Isotta Fraschini Tipo 8A.
Can I make the car sound effect now?
Yeah, go.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Thank you. A rare vintage luxury car.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
While DeMille entertains Norma, many of the other guards, technicians, and extras on the set recognize her and welcome her back.
It's Norma!
Joe and Max, meanwhile, learn that Cole had called because the studio wants to rent her car and has no interest in her script.
Wah.
Max insists that they hide these facts from her. He later confesses to Joe that he was once a respected film director who has discovered Norma as a girl. Oh my God, Jordan.
What was that?
Learn to read. Who discovered Norma as a girl.
As a girl? Can you please read all of the hard G's and soft G's?
Yeah. And was also her first husband. And that he now remains her servant because he cannot bear to leave her. While Norma undergoes a rigorous series of beauty treatments to prepare for her comeback, Joe has secretly begun to work with Betty on a screenplay. Though she is now engaged to Artie, she falls in love with him. Although he likes her, Joe is dismayed at the triangle in which he is now caused.
Yes, this is great.
When Norma discovers a script with Betty's name on it, she phones Betty and
Bling, bling, bling.
Hello. I insinuate what sort of a man Joe really is. Joe, hearing her, invites Betty to the mansion to see for herself. When she arrives, he coldly terminates. Yeah, wow, that's a weird way. Terminates their relationship.
Well, it's like you've cancelled the subscription to Netflix or something like that.
By letting her believe that he is a gigolo and prefers to live off Norma.
Bonjour, madame. Like my services, I'm gigolo.
My name is Joe. I am a
No,
gigolo.
I'm Go the gigolo.
I am Go, gigolo. Betty leaves the mansion in tears. Joe begins to pack, having decided to return to Ohio. He bluntly informs Norma that of the truth. There's no space in between this word. Truth that. Norma of the truth that there will be no comeback. Her fan letters come from Max, and she is forgotten. I
am forgotten.
He ignores Norma's threats to shoot herself, and in a fit of passion, she shoots him as he leaves, leaving him dead in the pool. The scene returns to the opening.
Sorry. Splish.
Yeah. The scene returns to the opening. Still narrating, Joe expresses fear over how Norma will be unable to cope with this disgrace. Disgrace. What did you want to say?
Narrating.
Oh, sorry. Still narrating, Joe expresses fear over how Norma will be unable to cope with the disgrace. Oh, fuck it. And discovery of how I can't do it now. Forgotten she truly is. By the time the police arrive, however, she has completely broken with reality and slipped into a delusional state of mind, thinking that the new cameras are set up for a film shoot. To help the police coax her down the stairs, Max plays along with the hallucination that she is on the set of her new film. He verbally sets up the scene for her and yells, "Action!"
No. You have to say it quietly so I can say it loudly.
Oh, sorry. He verbally sets the scene for her and yells, "Action!"
Action!
Norma dramatically descends her grand staircase. Joe, in voiceover, remarks that life has decided to spare her the pain
Life has decided
discovery,
to spare her the pain of discovery.
and that the dream she had clung to so desperately had enfolded her.
The dream she had clung to had enfolded her.
Norma makes a short speech at how happy she is to be back making a film.
I'm happy to be back making a film.
And delivers the film's most famous line. "All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up."
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
The end. So, we spoke, you said you didn't like the film.
Yeah, I would. My main beef from this film, which, oh man, what I don't like about it so much is how betrayed I was by this film. Because
Why were you betrayed?
1 hour, 20 minutes in, we're having a good time. I understand what's going on. The narration is nice. It's okay. I get everything. It's all good. I get the characters. The actress person, she's annoying, and I get it. Joe is doing whatever.
Yeah.
1 hour, 30 minutes in, fuck this film.
Why?
Because it just becomes so overdramatic. The only thing,
I don't understand.
Because-
specifically at what point, what happened where you went, I don't like this now?
as soon as Norma gets way too over the top, because her character just becomes a caricature of herself.
I feel like she was over the top throughout the whole thing.
No.
That was the very point.
No.
She's a very dramatic lady.
No. It's all right. Let me try and find the actual moment where I was like,
Okay. I will allow you to do that.
and I will do that.
And we're in beefs now, right?
Oh, we are fully in beefs.
Dick deep in beef.
Okay.
Yeah.
The point where she was definitely being way too over the top is when she's trying to find out where he's going in the evenings.
Right.
And it's at that point where I'm just thinking, I was so frustrated with her character of being someone who just is so far removed from reality. And then all of the lines that she says, it's like, I have all the money in the world. It's like, yeah, we've already heard that. You don't need to go on about that several more times for me to understand the point that you're making.
Right.
We get that. We get it. That's it. So the fact that it was brought home so many times, and then the fact that Joe just went along with it, it's like, it didn't say anything. And then, right at the end of the film, what was the point of it?
Okay.
Because we didn't see like her, we didn't see any like what's the word? We didn't see any redemption for Joe.
Yeah.
How is it that Joe is narrating his own death? That's just annoying. Because he's supposed to be alive after this film. It's annoying that someone who is narrating the film in reality couldn't narrate the film.
Okay, let's park that because that's a separate thing. The narration.
Okay. The narration's a separate thing, but it's the idea that her circumstance was just getting so extra, and her reaction to everything was just so extra, and the way it was portrayed was so dramatic, overly dramatic.
Okay.
And I know that's the point of her character, is that she is over dramatic. It was just really cheesy. It felt super cheesy and like it lost all self-respect.
Okay. I feel like this character of Norma Desmond is a flawed character who's unable to accept that she's no longer in the spotlight. So she surrounds herself with situations and things to remind her that she's a star. With all the money that she's got, she buys such opulent things. And, having Joe there, she's able to spend that money on someone else and, help show that person that she's got all of this money. Putting him in nice clothes just reflects back to her that she's bought those things and that she is the one that has allowed that to happen because she's got so much money because she's a big star. Yeah. She feeds into her own delusion that she is a big star. Now, when the whole situation at the Paramount Pictures, where she believes that now they're going to start doing her film and she's getting ready for that, she's been fed into this whole delusion by Max, and like no one's obviously letting her know that it's not true. So now the idea that she has that she's a big star and that she's sort of making a return, as she puts it, has now exploded, and it's actually happening. And the delusion has become ever more so because she's now being told that she's going to actually be a star once more, or just become the forefront of people's attention once again. So the fact that she goes from being ridiculous and over the top as an actor as she was, let's not forget that she was a silent film actress, so she was very physical. She would have been very, like extravagant with the way that she acted, not only just the way that she spoke.
She doesn't have to keep mentioning all the time, we don't need dialogue. We never needed dialogue back in the day.
But that's because she says those things, because if that wasn't true, then she wouldn't be a good actor.
It's just so draining to see that all the time, though.
But yeah, this is the thing that I liked about it, though, because it felt like I could really believe that character felt quite believable to me. I can imagine someone imagine if you've got all that money and all of that attention and all that fame, and then all of a sudden it goes away because the format that you used to get that fame is no longer viable.
See, I understand if her character is like, if she was the protagonist of the film, where it's like portrayed as a tragic character as opposed to a pain in the ass character.
But it is a tragic character. It's tragic for us to watch because all along that like you see like the state of her house, and like right at the start it's shown as like this empty, lifeless house that's just got like, and Joe says like right at the start, it's like one of those houses that get built up with people that have loads of money and then left and abandoned. But she's actually in it.
Yeah, but like, the way that the fact that it's taken from his perspective means that the angle that the audience has is always from his perspective, not only because he's the protagonist, but also because he's narrating the film. So when we're looking at this derelict house, it could look really tragic and sad, but the way that I felt about it was like, oh, it's just a bit scummy and a bit like not well looked after because here's an actress who's not done any work for years and years and years and has no perspective on her life. And it's just like, oh, well, this is just a bit weird and a bit gross. And then later on, when she's being all melodramatic and everything, which I can totally understand her character. I can totally understand how someone might be like that, and that would be a really cool film where we understand that and we explore the tragedy of someone's life and their inability to deal with it, and so they might do things that are really terrible, like killing someone, for instance. But the fact that it's always taken from Joe's perspective means that you see that for him, it's just a nuisance, and so it just felt to me like a nuisance.
See, I don't feel that was the perspective that we got from Joe. I think that from doing it from Joe's perspective, we got, because Joe is a person who is in the film entertainment industry, or wants to be, and is trying but can't quite get there. And he's like, a classic example of the people that go to, he says in the film, like he's like gone to Hollywood and it's not for him. Like he can't do it and he can't keep up. Now he's been given this sort of way in almost that's not quite right. And it's this whole thing of Joe not really knowing whether to feed into, like, the delusion becomes his as well, almost like he's tacked on to this person, and it's helping him to kind of try and live the life that he wants.
But he's skeptical the whole time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's interesting to see how someone who doesn't really know whether that's the right thing, or whether it's what, doesn't understand what his role is in that situation. That's, if we were coming at it from someone who was objectively like, this is wrong, or objectively like, this is right, then the film wouldn't be as interesting. But because this person's so conflicted and we're following that, it gives another facet to the whole delusion of her being a star.
Right. What with Joe being the protagonist and him being the narrator, I felt the biggest connection to him, right?
Yeah.
In his character.
Yeah.
So I was seeing every situation from his point of view.
Yeah.
Up until the relationship with Betty and stuff like that. That was near the end. That just got a bit. That was also furthermore, which made me be like,
I didn't. Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
So that's a definite beef from that point, and that's when I really lost all faith. But I was losing faith beforehand because I was seeing what felt to me like ambivalence to the situation. Because he was like, I could tell that he was trapped in a way. He was like, "Oh, do I do this? Do I go back to Ohio?
Yeah.
Or do I go back to, or do I stay with this woman? Do I write this screenplay? Blah blah blah." But it kind of really seemed to be like, "Oh, I'll just go with whatever." Meanwhile, there's this character who is, I would say, more interesting than him. Norma is more interesting, and in terms of like the tragedy of her life is far more than his. So if there was more focus on like her backstory and like the way that she is now and all that stuff, then I would have got it way more. But seeing it from his perspective, it just seemed really like indifferent, and so it just infuriated me more when she was even more dramatic. So as opposed to, it seemed like, when people say hysteria as opposed to having a depressive episode. Back in the day, it was called hysteria because it was just believed that women were uncontrolled. They didn't know how to deal with their emotions and all this kind of stuff. For me, it felt like here's just a woman being hysterical, as opposed to here's a woman who is unable to deal with her own reality. It was only in the very last scene when she walks down the steps and you see her reality and her living her fantasy at the same time. That was the best scene by far. That was awesome. That was really, really cool. I really dug that because you had all of the...
See, but that's the height of the delusion.
Yeah, but
everything else is the build-up, and you see how it slowly transforms to that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I liked. I liked the journey of it all.
But if we could have seen that from her perspective, you see how with Shutter Island last week, right? The world slowly starts to crumble around it as we see. So at the beginning, we're definitely there.
Yeah, you're with him.
We are with him, and you really...
You're doing that is his journey that you are doing with him.
You are detectiving with him.
Yeah. Whereas from this one, you're doing Joe's journey, watching her.
It's like you're being Chuck in Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Which is not nearly as enjoyable because you are like... Being Joe, you are making judgments on what Thingy's life is, Norma's life is, before she's even started to have a really big change of experience with it. Because she doesn't really change her mind until, nothing really changes in her existence until Joe starts to play a bigger role in her life.
Yeah.
So
But we didn't see how she reacts with her previous husbands, other than Max, obviously.
and that would have been a much more interesting film.
Okay, let's move on to some beefs.
Well, some other beefs, yeah.
Some other beefs.
I got a few little ones.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was shaming her depression. I didn't think that was cool. Why were the passers-by, when he was trying to hitch a ride into town to go to the New Year's party, why were they saying Happy New Year before midnight?
Yeah, that is weird. You're right. Good spot.
And we could tell that it was definitely midnight.
America, right?
Bloody America.
It's probably because they do their dates and their time backwards.
Something to do with that. No, because you could tell it was definitely New Year when they started playing.
You are correct.
I don't know. I should try to explain.
I had a beef with the girls at the party.
Okay. What, they're giggling?
Just the actors. Just that's what is going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really bad.
Just constant. Like, nothing's that funny. And why are you laughing exactly the same way each time?
Yeah, that was bad.
What is it? Like, just over a phone. They're just on a phone and someone is saying something literally so hilarious constantly. Like, just line after line after line. Hey, aeroplane food, am I right? What about those apples, eh?
Just like 100% banter bangers every single time.
Yeah, I wish I could be that funny.
No, it'd be cool if we were both that funny. That way this podcast would... I mean...
it would be a much better podcast, wouldn't it, if we were actually funny?
Oh, that's sad. My final beef is like the... I don't know if you have more. I'm terribly sorry. If I've just signaled the end of beefs by saying my final beefs. It's just my final beef, not the end of it.
No, you can do it. It's fine.
Okay. The final beef...
Dum, dum.
Is when... in like one of the last scenes and the reporters or like the policemen are asking Norma all the questions. They're giving her zero time to answer any of the questions.
Yeah, I know. It's weird questioning, isn't it?
Where did you meet this man? How old is he? How long have you been seeing each other?
Where did you get the gun?
Yeah, exactly. So she's doing her makeup and stuff, and they obviously must be like infuriated that she's not answering any of the questions. But still, you got to give the woman some time to actually respond to a question.
Yeah.
That was just silly.
I feel like I'd like to see this film redone.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
The perspective that we have now, this is the 50s, so we're now, 68 years along. We've probably got...
What, set in the current day?
Yeah. Well, not even necessarily set in the current day, but just with the minds in film that we have at the moment, and the way that films are produced now, when you say things about shaming her depression, like that wouldn't be in it, or... things that are okay to do and things that aren't okay. There's a lot of stuff in there that probably wouldn't be done the same.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this film redone with a new perspective.
Yeah. Also, things like, for instance, if Joe's trying to creep around the house being quiet, maybe he shouldn't slam his car door.
Yeah.
So stupid things like that. So I do definitely agree. I think it'd be better to be on the side of like a psychological thriller as opposed to because at the start it almost seemed like a
okay. Put a pin in that because I want to come back to that. But let's go to some bits and bobs. One of the lines that I really liked.
Yep.
Right at the start of the film, when Betty's like, "I heard you had some talent." And I was like, "That was last year. This year, I'm trying to make a living."
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that I felt like coming from
musician's background.
Yeah, I felt like I resonated that with a lot. It's just like, "Oh, so I heard you had a really cool originals band." Yeah, that was last year. This year, I'm just doing covers because I need to actually pay rent.
Yeah. That's very sadly relate to that, but yeah, I totally get what you mean. I'm just thinking about the audio description of this film.
The audio description?
Yeah, so like, let's say you've got visual impairments, right?
Yeah.
Or you're blind or whatever. When you're going into the cinema,
yeah,
you take a seat, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in my seat.
And you sit down, you've got your headphones on, or maybe you don't have headphones on, but what you do have is an audio description of what's going on in the film, yeah? So say, for example, in Titanic, the audio description would be, you would hear Jack and Rose says, "I'm flying." And the audio description would be something like...
Rose is not actually flying.
She is at the helm of the ship and she is got her arms spread out wide. That's what the audio description would be, right?
Now I understand what's going on.
So, in Sunset Boulevard, it'd just be really, really fucking hectic because you got the dude who's narrating every single next thing and the person doing the audio description is just trying to get a word in edgeways. Just because he's saying like, "And then I called my friend Joe. Or no, he wouldn't call his friend Joe. And then I called my friend Ben. And as soon as
Joe calls Ben,
but then before he can even say that thing, he then says, "But then Ben didn't pick up the phone." The person doing the audio description is like,
for fuck's sake,
leave me something.
I mean, that's kind
describe.
of audio description in itself, though, isn't it?
So at what point would the audio description like pop in and pop out?
You know what, Kieran? I've never watched anything with audio description, so I can't even base it on, an example in my head. I have no idea how it works. So
it would just sound hectic, I think.
Probably.
It would either be. It would
I have no idea.
It would either be really busy, or like I could just imagine the audio description person just feeling really pissed off that they can't say the things that they're supposed to be describing because some stupid narrator is describing every single minor detail in the first 15 minutes of the film. That was just a thing.
On the note of the narration, so I said earlier that that was something that I liked.
Yeah.
Because you don't know necessarily that it's Joe that's dead at the start of the film. You see him like floating in the pool, and the narrator, who is Joe, is saying, "Here's a person floating in a pool," something. Yeah. And then when it gets to that point in the film, Joe is still narrating. He's like, "So that's how I died." And then he continues to narrate, and I just liked that he's speaking from beyond the grave.
No, I despise that.
You don't like that?
Yeah, I absolutely despise that.
Oh, I quite liked that.
Why
don't you like it? Explain yourself, boy.
The reason I don't like that is because the person who is narrating the film should be a constant present. Like I want them to also be able to appear in the film, like as if they could step out of the narration box and then go back into the film.
Okay, so you don't want them to have like an actual
supernatural
impact in the film, or what? Like they're not actually just watching. I don't know. I liked it because it's a way of doing the twist, isn't it? You wonder who that person is in the pool, and then it gets that scene. You're like, oh, I wonder if it's going to be. Oh, it's him. He died, and then he continues narrating it. And it's like, oh,
how would he continue narrating it though? Because well, maybe this just kind of reflects my feelings about afterlife and stuff. Maybe if you believe in heaven, you believe in the afterlife and stuff. It's like maybe there's a recording studio up there in paradise. So it's cool that he can observe stuff and just kind of give some commentary on what's going on after his own death. And he can give like a different perspective on it and whatever else. And he can give a review of his previous experiences. And then, well, no, because if you're in paradise, you're not looking at your past. You can't like rewind on your past. So what I'm saying is, it's ridiculous that he would be in the afterlife watching a film of his life. That's not something that would happen. And even if you don't believe in the afterlife, like me, you would just be dead, and it would be it.
But it's right. That's a very practical way to look at it, and I'm not surprised that that's the way you looked at it. I just don't feel that there's a need to stay so attached to the physical when watching a film. Like, the rules don't have to apply. You know, I thought it tacked on to the twist of him being the one that's dead by also having him to continue narrating, and so you feel unsettled because you're like, oh, it's him that died, and then he's still talking, which just makes you feel even more unsettled. And it's like this whole, oh, whoa, this is weird. Okay, right. I could get behind that.
Part of it is that I'd stopped caring by that time in the film anyway.
Yeah, it sounds like you didn't have a good time.
No, I didn't have a good time. So I just felt like by the time that she shot him, I was like, oh, okay, so she shot him.
Okay, right.
That's it.
So, have you got any more bits and bobs?
Yeah, at 1 hour 19 minutes, Betty is making coffee.
Yeah.
Did you see how she was making coffee?
No.
Whatever contraption that was, it was really cool. So I want to get one of them ones. It was like some weird glass bowl thing, and she turned it upside down, and then she got the coffee grind things, and I think maybe yes. My last thing is that the line, "Now suppose you proofread page 10 while the water boils." I just really like the use of "now suppose you," because that's something that we don't. I don't know if
we don't use that anymore, do we?
Yeah, it's either like a British thing that people don't use it over here, or it's probably just of the time. So I imagine.
Now suppose you have a milkshake.
Exactly. But also like and it's. I like the idea of telling someone to do something, but framing it as a hypothetical situation.
Right.
So it's like, Jordan, suppose you bought us lunch after we did this recording.
Right.
And then that's just it.
So just to say a thing.
I just like the use of "now suppose you." I think I'd like. There's a few things in a few different lines I'd like to take from different films. I think that's going to be one of them.
You're going to add that.
Yeah,
As well
I
as
think so.
Pendas.
Oh my god! Wow. Oh, I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, that one stuck with me.
Pendas.
Pendas.
That was such a good one. No fear.
No fear.
Cool. All right. If you were to be someone in the film,
No, this is what I was going to say.
Oh,
Returning to my pin. Can we try something a little different? Unless you've got some stuff lined up.
go ahead.
Right. If we could remake this film, which actor would you swap out for another? Have you got an actor that you would put in that you like as someone else to change how the film? Like, who would you do it if it was going to be now?
Okay, that's a different question to bringing someone into the film because it's like adding someone. When we bring someone into the film, we're usually adding them to the film.
Yeah, we're not necessarily changing the film here, or we can do, based on the actor and their capabilities. Like, I mean, if you changed, if you changed like Max for like Morgan Freeman or something, that would probably make the film feel a little bit different, wouldn't it?
But it'd be wildly different at that point, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. We can do whatever you want. Like,
okay.
Who would you bring in this film if it was to be rebooted?
Okay, well, I would like the protagonist to be Norma.
Okay.
So I would want to pick like an amazing leading lady.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like Helen Mirren.
Yeah,
Something
I
like
lean
that.
towards that as well.
Because there's enough of like I want to see her be classy, classy without the drama of like so she's classy in a really good classy way, but then she's classy in more fantastically, and then it kind of exaggerates to the points where she's having real panic and fear of losing her. I'm someone who is madly capable, like she's got all of the acting techers like locked up, and so she can do the full range of like. I mean, that's the point of being a good actor, is that you can do all of the acting things. But like, for me, she would be that person perfectly. So I reckon Helen Mirren to be Norma Desmond.
Okay.
What about you?
I would, Helen Mirren's a good shout. I think for Joe, I'd quite like to have, I've forgotten his name. John Hamm. Do you know who John Hamm is?
Is he a comedian?
He's in some comedies. He's in Mad Men.
No.
Yeah. So I
mean, I know the name, but I don't really know him.
He's in Mad Men.
What are his acting qualities?
He can do the whole suave, like not New York, but like like businessy, classy gentleman. That I think Joe that quality. He's like he can do the whole like old 1950s style kind of person, but also with a little bit more depth and a little bit more potential like humor and like dryness and that sort of thing. I think he might have been in Men in Black 3 as well, but I don't think you've seen that.
Okay.
And he was in Comedy Bang Bang as well, I think. The
podcast, okay. Yeah.
I feel like that would be a way of I'm basically just imagining his character from Mad Men, which I haven't watched much of, but I can just imagine him being in it as a current actor in this film.
Right. Okay.
Do you want to try and do Max? We need an old man who's creepy,
but and can do some controlling stuff. Because I would have liked to see. So in this remake of the film, I'd like to see him start off all innocent, but then we actually see more about how he has been essentially controlling Norma's life.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a good one.
Go on.
The doctor from Shutter Island, the old doctor. I can imagine him as like a butler that's also pulling strings.
Ooh, that's not bad. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. But then as soon as you say butler, I think Michael Caine from Batman.
Oh, yeah, no, actually that would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just if it was just I
was the man that made her a star. I was the person who put her under the lights the whole time.
I was her first husband.
Norma Desmond is the greatest star of them all. Yeah.
The Lamborghini then.
No, what's the car?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. It was some really long name.
The really old European car then.
The European car then. Yeah, so that would be good. Is there anyone that you would be, though, to change the film?
Like the normal segment then?
Yeah, like the normal segment. Okay, so we're just changing the bring, but the B.
pretty early in the film when Joe goes to the mansion, he stumbles upon the mansion, he ends up going upstairs, and he realizes that he's being confused for the person who is supposed to be burying the chimp.
Yes.
That's not a euphemism. He is supposed to be burying a real chimp. So I would just ask, because she's like, oh, how much do you charge? And don't take the piss because I'm rich. Well, depending on what her idea of taking the piss is, he needed £300 to be bailed out of his situation.
Yeah.
So I would just say, I'd like $300, please, to bury this chimp. Bury the chimp, get the $300, get your car back, job's a good one. Everything's fine. Life goes back to normal.
No, you definitely have to try for more than that.
I mean...
How can you not try for more than that? She's obviously an idiot. She's burying a chimp. She's the kind of person that has a pet chimp.
Yeah, but you would bury a chimp.
They do not. I think anyone that has a pet chimp doesn't have an understanding of the value of money.
That's a very good point. So, how much would you charge for it? So your job is Jordan Deere pet burial specialist, and you go around and you bury the pets of the rich and famous in Hollywood.
Right,
how much do you charge?
That's going to run you up $1,079.
$1,079.
Yeah, I'm afraid it is, sir. So, is that a price that you can accept?
I don't really think so. I think I'm going to have to back you all the way down to $1,075 because I'm not sure I can deal with that.
No, I'm glad you said that, sir. Unfortunately, the price is non-negotiable. The reason for that price is because I need to curate a certain type of wood. Now, you see, chimpanzee bones, they don't decompose the same way as normal human beings. Now, trust me, I'm an expert. I've been in this game for a long time.
What happens to the coffin?
The coffin actually contains the bones and the residue because, you see, as I said, they don't decompose the same way.
But how do they decompose differently?
There's a chemical structure within the bones that comes from eating all the bananas, you see.
It's
very high and rich in potassium. Have you ever tried to leave a bowl of potassium in a bowl of wood?
No, but I'm sure that something crazy would happen.
Well, you would not believe it. You see, actually, you remember that bomb that went off during the war?
The potassium bomb?
No.
Hiroshima?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with it. There's actually another bomb that happened.
Yeah.
And that was caused by the potassium.
Bananas.
Now, the person they buried a chimp, and 2 weeks later, their house had blown up.
Because of banana bones?
Because of now, you see, this wood that I've curated, it's made from a chemical compound that's the opposite of potassium.
What's the opposite of potassium?
It's pH P40792. Now, don't quote me on that because my chemistry is a little rough, but
okay.
It's been a while since I made the compound.
You just have lots of it.
Yeah, I made loads of it, and I've got the recipe in my book, so I just make it now. But I don't need to think about it too much. But you see, it cost me exactly $1,000 to make the wood.
So you're making a profit.
For the scale of your chimpanzee.
So you're making a profit of only $79.
Well, I'm the best in the business.
You're the best in the business, and you're only making $79.
That's because I'm doing this every single day. I bury a lot of chimpanzees.
But why would you not raise your prices if you should be charging me more?
I've got so many customers that I don't need to charge anymore. You know that you come to me, you get the best price for the best coffin for your chimpanzee. No mess, no fuss, no quarrel.
I'll take it.
All right?
I'll take it. If you were to... Wow. Wow. That was... you were indulging your Australian accent there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just started and then I was like, fuck, I've got to stick with this now.
I didn't want to probe too much because you were just enjoying that fantasy of being an Australian chimpanzee burial person too much. If you were to be someone in the film?
I would be Betty and just fucking write the film. Like, he constantly is like, I'm not going to write. She's like, help me write it with me. It's like, no, so many times he's like, take the idea, write it, like, do it.
Do we explain what this is, by the way?
Yeah, no, we said it briefly in the synopsis that
Betty wants to write a film.
she wants to write a film. She's a
Using Joe's
reader
stuff.
and he's a writer. And it's that section that she says that she thinks is good. She eventually wants to actually make that, and she has some strings, like some stuff going on. She can make the film, and she wants his input to help do it.
Pulling strings,
yeah. And constantly he's like, "No, just do it," and she's like, "No, I need you to do it with me. I'd do it. Just do it."
He is far more experienced than she is.
Yeah,
but she should just. Maybe she was in love with him the whole time.
Maybe, but then I also feel like if she'd have written it and then taken it to him, he would have like had a look over it and gone, maybe do this, 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 and this. Instead of just like being like, do it with me. I'd do it and then maybe show him, and if not, fuck it. It's a good idea. I have faith in my writing abilities, and I'm going to do the thing.
Very nice, wonderful. I would bring Gina from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No, we're not doing bringing.
What do you mean we're not doing?
We did the bringing with the old fashioned.
But I prepared it,
reboot.
Jordan.
Okay, go on then.
Well, it's not worth it.
No, go on. Gina from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Because she is sassy as hell, and she's a drama queen, and I think she would out-drama Norma.
Yeah.
And I feel like she'd be super real with Norma. I feel like she would out-sass her. I think it'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You?
No one. I've done it previously.
Great.
So would you stay indoors to see this film?
God, no.
No.
No, I really didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
I just felt so betrayed and annoyed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe doing this has kind of allowed me to evaluate how I feel about certain people looking at their reality in a different way, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But in any case, I felt like the film didn't do a good enough job of saying what it should have done.
Okay.
Would you stay indoors?
I would. It was 2 hours long, and it didn't feel too bad. It had nice pace to it. I liked the story. I liked the characters. It was enjoyable. I didn't feel like didn't feel like time was dragging when I was watching it. Do I think it's the best film in the world? No, but I would say stay indoors and watch it. It's a good watch.
All right. Okay, that's cool.
So next week, Kieran, we're watching The Passion of Joan of Arc.
The Passion of Joan of Arc.
Of Arc.
So if you'd like to take a dip dive into history and get on the Arc of Joan.
Dodge, dive, dip, duck, and Joan.
Okay, so we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye.
We're going to do a little live production meeting.
Okay.
Jordan, there's something I want to throw by you.
Yeah.
At some point in the future, maybe, I was thinking it might be cool if 1 in every 5 episodes of the show, it would be a request. So not necessarily a film that's on the top 250.
I like that.
But one that like everyone's like, oh, you need to watch this film. And I'm just like, well, it's not on the top 250 list. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So maybe if we told the listeners, by the way, we've had a bunch of people saying we should watch this film. What do you think? Or we just got a load of requests in, then maybe we do an episode 1 in every 5 that is a listener request.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah? Okay.
I'd be diddy down with that.
Diddy down.
So if you want to listen to those, you can listen to us at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube, Acast,
And
anywhere that you find podcasts.
Sure. And if you want to send that request anyway, you should send it to at 250 Reasons on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can email it to 250reasons@gmail.com.
Really driving that home. Really getting that in people's
It's necessary.
heads.
That intonation isn't quite there, but it will be soon.
What?
Well, we're doing different notes at different points. And
250reasons@gmail.com.
Do you see what I mean? It's not quite.
No.
It's me. I'm
you.
sorry.
It is you.
It's me, not you.
It couldn't be me.
Okay. But anyway, have a lovely day.
Have a lovely day.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
That's enough now.
That is enough now.